Hello my friends. Today I will talk to you about the nature of this thing we call the Eurovision, and show you how the winner song was rigged and how it contains Illuminati Satanic symbolism. Eurovision began in Switzerland in 1956, with only 7 Western European countries participating and 10 airing the contest live on television. The contest's purpose was to promote post-war cooperation between European states and encourage cross-border television broadcasts. In the ensuing years, the contest expanded, with other Western European countries beginning to participate, as well as countries such as Turkey, Israel, and Yugoslavia. During the Cold War, countries in the Soviet bloc were not allowed to participate. To join the contest, countries needed and still need to be part of the European Broadcasting Union, EBU, or who are members of the Council of Europe. This was not an option for most Eastern European countries, as the EBU was a public service media organization, which made it incompatible with media structures in most Eastern European countries under the Soviet influence. But after the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989, as changes swept rapidly across Eastern Europe, the contest moved quickly to include the newly independent countries, with most joining by 1994. While political messages and performances were discouraged and sometimes banned at the contest, many songs contained themes of European unity and references to the revolutions of the previous autumn. The winner was Italy's Insieme 1992, containing the English hook Unite, Unite, Europe. The events of 1989 had a huge influence on the contest, with Austria singing about there being no more walls and Norway's entry about the Brandenburg Gate, but they did not win the competition. After the fall of communist regimes across the Soviet bloc, Eastern European countries flocked to the contest. But as Europe's political division ended, a new war began. In 1993, due to sanctions from the United Nations for its aggression in Bosnia, Yugoslavia was not allowed to participate in the contest. But Bosnia continued to participate despite the war, receiving tremendous applause for each of its performances between 1993 and 1995. Similarly to how now Russia has been expelled from the European Broadcasting Union and Ukraine gets a lot of applause. I'm not here to defend Russia. As far as I'm concerned, they are an authoritarian empire led by KGB relics, but Europe, USA and NATO are not any better, having done their own mafia-type operations in Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Serbia, etc. Russia has their own propaganda, yes, but so do we in Europe. We have NATO propaganda, and so the entertainment has to be aligned with their interests, in this case through the European Broadcasting Union, the Council of Europe, and their product, the Eurovision Song Contest. If you want to know my stance on the war between Ukraine and Russia, I think that this whole conflict could have been avoided if NATO and EU didn't romanticize with Ukraine, because there is no way that their top intelligence didn't know that if they do that, the Russians will start a war. So the blood is on their hands too, if they wanted this to happen. Ukrainian and Russian dead soldiers are on their hands too. You just don't poke the bear. In my opinion, Ukraine and Russia both need to stop the war, negotiate and make compromises, but we can't believe rhetorics about Ukraine being heroes and speeches from an actor supported by Ukrainian oligarchs. But on Eurovision, it's all about applauding Ukraine, almost as if we are blind to look into other details, like Ukrainian or NATO corruption. It's all a blissful feeling with slogans like, "We are one." We are all happily brain dead. On the Eurovision Song Contest, there are other forms of indoctrination that somehow align with the progressive and leftist ideology. It kind of started when in 2014 the winner was transgender. The song wasn't that good, so it's almost as if the winner was picked for propagandistic reasons. In 2017 the slogan of the Eurovision was "Celebrate Diversity", and the winner was some effeminate fragile little man who was talking about how we shouldn't have any borders and just let refugees in without any checkups or anything. Doesn't matter if some of them could be terrorists, just let them all in. We are one. This year we had a competition where it was mostly women, lesbians, bisexuals, gays and drag queens performing and presenting the show, and people asking for equal pay during the voting section. Why is this a problem? Well, because it's forced and unnatural. In modern progressive culture, the straight masculine man must be eliminated and is considered toxic. Everyone must fight for feminism and LGBT rights, and if you don't, you're a horrible person. I completely disagree with this, and if I was running the competition, I would let things be natural. So it would probably look like mostly normal men and women performing, as it was in the 80s, and occasionally you might see a gay guy performing, which would be fine, because it reflects reality, and anyone can sing. No one complained in the 80s about an occasional Elton John singing, but when you have the abnormal presented as normal and makes up the majority of something and what the majority should want, that's fake and propagandistic. On top of this, you have the Illuminati Satanic symbolism, because of course at the end of the day, all these giant powers like NATO, EU or the Council of Europe for broadcasting, UN, big music record labels like Sony or Universal Music, Hollywood, etc. are all led by the Illuminati, which themselves are being ruled by Satan. And so we have his symbolism all over the brainwash entertainment that we consume. And I will give you some examples from this year's competition. I didn't look at all the videos because I don't like this competition or the type of songs that show up in there. I used to like it a little bit when I was watching as a kid with my granny, but back then things were more normal. So I will start with this song from Moldova, from Pasha Parfeni. The act starts with him doing the Illuminati pyramid hand signal, and you see one eye behind him in the graphics. The eyeball stays there for a good part of the act, but it changes later into an eclipse with spiraling fire on the edges. Two women appear with their hair in the shape of a horn. A masked midget appears playing a flute, which brings me back to the good old days, to the good old atmosphere of 1800 circuses. It all feels like a pagan gypsy circus party. I guess he must feel he's a Turk, therefore being a traitor to his country, which fought to keep his land independent from the Ottoman Empire with Stephen the Great. The people must think they're watching an authentic cultural experience, but sadly, it's just some guy dancing in pajamas, because the real culture of Moldova is rooted in Orthodox Christianity and Romanian traditions, like the excellent dance of the Kalushari. Back to the occult interpretation, the women start to cover one of their eye, which is another well-known Illuminati move, and to complete the pose, they come together and form a Baphomet-type picture, with the big horns finally taking their shape, with a metaphorical Satan at the center and a red planet behind in the graphics, possibly the home of the demons. The planet is pulsating, after which it explodes. Then the spiral moves to the stage and they dance in the center of it. This could be a reference to the Saturn cult, where they believe that there is a gate to a demonic dimension in the spiral of Saturn. It is also symbolized with a black cube. More Baphomet bull symbolism, but with both hands covering the eye. Then he gets into a meditation type state. Meditation in modern culture is known as a way to relax and join with the nothingness and forget about your problems, being in the present, being one with the source and all that bullshit. But it can also be a place where you can contact demons by mistake, which mask as light and then end up possessing you to the core and have you do their bidding. Again, we have the satanic horns behind him to suggest this. The lyrics are about a wedding ritual under the sky full of stars. He gave her the ring with a rare stone on the 7th day, and the sun and the moon held their wedding crown. Just an innocent pagan wedding ritual, right? Well, not if you understand the occult symbolism, because then you ask yourself, whose and what kind of wedding is this? This song did not win. Moldova is not really on the map for winning this anytime soon. Even if they send satanic stuff, my own country, Romania, was pretty far from winning too. We sent them a gay, transsexual, non-binary guy too, thinking that Eurovision will like us, but we didn't even go past the semi-finals. See, it's not just me who says Eurovision is gay and satanic. Even countries themselves know this, so they try to package a product in the way that they think Eurovision will like it. So here's the top 3 for this year's Eurovision. Number 3, Israel. Definitely got there for talent and definitely nothing to do with the fact that Jews run the... Number 2, Finland. Here we have the same type of Saturn cube type symbolism. He is in the cube, then he escapes, rocks out, and after a while, he unleashes his army of effeminate, probably gay ballet dancers. This is definitely not a ritual of the Antichrist releasing his legions on Earth, and this is definitely not gay. Everyone voted for this in a contest where everything else was pretty boring. However, the jury voted a radio-friendly song, and it made it impossible for the public vote to catch it, so it was rigged for her to win. Number 1, Sweden. With an artist that won the competition already in 2012 with the same type of song, a dance song with a regular 5th grader lyrics. It's what you expect on a radio in the 21st century, and it's what we all want. Guess what? The exact same symbolism, the Saturn cube theme, once again with a spiral Saturn storm, but this time also with the demonic fingernails, as above so below symbolism in the beginning of the act, and lyrics that say, violins playing and the angels crying, when the stars align, then I'll be there. So let me translate this for you. The Satanists are saying here that when the stars align, their Antichrist will get out of the box and crack it open, so that the rest of the demons get sent on Earth. It's pretty easy, telling us this over and over again, even in video games.
All the rumors, the human sacrifices, the hell portal, the demons, it's all true.
We spent decades perfecting the science, selling it to humanity. We balanced their hell energy with our science, making it usable and safe. We solved an energy crisis the world had no answer for. We can't just shut it all down. Without Argent energy, it will be worse. I don't expect you to agree. But with this, we can continue our work.
And I covered this since 2014, and I'm aware of it since 2007, when I was an atheist metalhead. But after I saw how the world works and how it's led by Satan, I believed in God again soon after. And these Satanists can think that the angels are crying when the armies of Lucifer will come, but that is not true. The armies of God will win and will crush the demons, so I recommend you to join the right side. The Satanists are fooled that God is a dictator and that Satan is giving us the knowledge and freedom of expression. But you should judge what Satan has given through his followers' fruits, which are all rotten, full of pedophiles and rituals of blood, destruction and famine, corruption of God's DNA with lab-made viruses, Epstein's Island, sexualization of children, hundreds of thousands dying in a manufactured war, corruption and deceivers, spreading evil and masked as progress and equality. I'm kind of going all over the place, but you get my point. Even if you don't believe in anything, the fact that the people who run this world believe in it should affect you. This is all I have for now. Keep fighting the good fight. This is Vostok Vlad, signing out.